podcast that's perfectly balanced as all things should be. I am your host, Max Mosier's Inner Thoughts today, here with you to discuss the MCU Disney Expo. On my screen to the left, it is Infinity Bro Mark. Mark, how are you?
I'm doing great, Inner Thought Max. I'm glad we finally get to talk, and I know how you truly feel about me. I'm glad to be here to record.
I do not know what you're talking about, but on my right of the screen, it's Infinity Bro. How are you?
Really thrilled to be here with Will Arnett. It's been a dream of mine to record a podcast with the Will Arnett, the Lego Batman. Really happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
There you go. There's my inner thought dialogue, masculine voice. There you go. That's that. I'm your host, Max.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You didn't tell us when to hit record on Audacity.
I just started.
I already did it. So,
well,
yeah,
we'll hope for the best then. We'll hope for the best. Boom.
I was trying to hit timeout, unlike the Denver Broncos coach.
Boom. Roasted. Football joke.
That's a technical foul.
That's a technical foul from Robbie. Technical foul. Yeah, welcome to our show. Little off kilter tonight. There's a little bit of fatigue setting in. There's a little bit of angstiness from our Patreon recording that got cut off short because my microphone was having issues. Sorry about that, Patreon people.
His mic had issues. He didn't start ranting about stuff that we can't talk about.
This is a podcast, Mark. Right. You can't put quotes up. You're going to have to say quote unquote if you're going to be doing things like that.
Well, it's a video podcast. Then Isaac could cut this.
But it doesn't get produced as a video podcast, Mark. There's only video clips that are posted online. Grow up.
We could, though. We could.
Yeah, we could. We're not going to. I'm going
to now that I have your.
No, you're not. You won't.
No. Daddy
you can check us out on Patreon. We spent 40 minutes on Patreon discussing gobbledygook and came to the conclusion that it's late. It's what, 10:03? Yeah, I'm exhausted. We found my inner monologue voice, so that's why you got to be graced with that presence. I'm sure some people out there thought it was angry.
I felt like you've been working on that for the last 10 years, and you're like, I'm going to bust it out tonight. I'm going to try to get
here it is.
It is the day to workshop.
Mark's reaction. Yep.
All right, here we go. Mark, what do you think of my voice? Okay, oh, good.
Honey, how you sound like the hormone monster.
I finally did it. This is supposed to be.
And Max has now left the podcast.
3, 2, 1,
This is supposed to be a podcast that is safe for all to listen to, and you're inserting characters like that, Mark. Come on.
I feel safe.
I mean, if you haven't seen the show, then you don't know what it is.
Sure, whatever. We're going to be talking about the Disney Expo at D23 News. There's a little bit of news. This is going to be a bit of a shorter episode. We're kind of playing a little catch up. We're also going to review She-Hulk on the back end, episode 4. Some people are very critical of this episode. Some are very excited. We will hear from the Infinity Bros. If you're looking for House of the Dragon and Lord of the Rings content, Rings of Power, you can check that out the other back end of the week. We will be getting a recording done by this weekend, so you'll want to check that out. Forgive us in our time delays. We have busy lives. We're doing our best to keep up with the content, but as you know, there's a lot of content going around out there right now. No new iTunes reviews, but we do have the Disney Expo to talk about. Mark, Robbie, did either of you even get a chance to look at this? To my knowledge, I don't think any of us watched or tracked this online.
I was just happy someone posted all the announcements in one sheet, so I was just able to glance at it, so I didn't have to spend all my day watching it live.
Sure.
I saw very little of this.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of news reaction here. So if you're somebody that, first of all, why would you click on our podcast if you're coming to listen to this and you don't want to know this information? But we're going to count this as a spoiler review for this information and what's coming up with She-Hulk today. So I just want to make sure that you're familiar with our spoiler review. Why did I say it that way? It's 10 o'clock at night. We're going to be spoiling some information that's coming up here. So let's go ahead and put a spoiler warning right here.
This is...
Prepare yourself.
An Infinity Bros.
Prepare yourself.
Spoiler. Warning.
And then, so, Robbie, what are your expectations of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like when you get to these big D23 cons, do you want big time information like the last Comic-Con, or do you feel like it ebbs and flows and that's okay? Like for you as a consumer of content, do you have an expectation you're going to get a big reveal in this?
As a content consumer, I demand to know what Disney's doing for the next 12 years.
Sure.
I demand to know what Star Wars stories, what Marvel stories I'm getting for the next 12 years. And if they don't show me, I'm going to be very upset. And they better not cancel any of these because that's a terrible recipe. Just, I demand it.
Mark, anything to add?
I just think they're in good hands. I just feel Daddy Feige knows what he's doing with the Marvel stuff, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
My big hope is I feel like this last phase has been like a growing pains phase where like we're just getting the no characters and getting a little bit of backstory. And I hope this phase 5 really pays off on that. And then hopefully they've listened to, fan feedback and be like, hey, you know what we really like is like at least some decent visual effects and
like equal pay for visual effects makers.
Well, they don't pay, they third party source their stuff out. So those third party
competitive wage.
So those third party companies would actually be the ones you have to blame and not Disney or Marvel Studios because they pay the studio who does their visual effects a lump sum of money. And then that studio then dictates how they pay their employees. So that's who you really should be going after.
So Disney can't be like, hey, this isn't good enough.
Well, they already paid for what they got. They're probably not. They're also a company. They're not gonna be like, oh no, this is okay. This is gonna be fine. Or
so the standards don't matter.
Someone else. Probably not when it comes to millions and millions of dollars. I'm sure they have a set standard, and I met their set standard. If it was awful, they would have, redone it. But
it's been awful.
You can go up, well, it's not been awful. There's a lot worse VFX out there.
It's been pretty bad.
Name one thing, Robbie. Exactly.
She-Hulk.
You can't even think of
She-Hulk walking around anywhere.
I'm not going to take any criticism She-Hulk because I know how you feel about her. And come on,
give it a higher rating than you so far.
By like 0.2%.
Yeah, it's a lot.
This episode's off the rails right now. We're 7 minutes in. This episode's off the rails.
We're doing great. You wanted a quick episode. Here you go.
Quick episode.
I want to know what's coming up for Disney for the next 10 years.
So this is hot off the heels of San Diego Comic-Con, which came out in July. They unveiled more, but there's a couple of frustrations from some people. For one, we'll talk about the director here in a minute, but we didn't get the cast of Fantastic Four. We didn't get an X-Men announcement, and we didn't get a Deadpool announcement, which that was kind of the interesting one for me. Is there any expectations that weren't met from these categories from your perspectives?
I would say definitely the Fantastic Four, like cast reveal, because I feel like that was put out into the ether that was going to happen by, the reputable sources, the Trust Me Bros out there. And that not to happen just was a little, but there again, I, inflated my expectations via sources that have nothing to do with the actual product itself.
Sure.
So, there it is.
I think Disney they do have a really good track record of keeping things under wraps that I'm curious to see if they're going to do that with like Fantastic Four. Like if they're going to sneak Fantastic Four into like the third act of an upcoming movie, and that's going to be like their big play. And that's how they're going to get people to go to that movie. And then afterwards just blow up the marketing realm with those characters.
Which movie would you say that for? Black Panther or Ant-Man?
I mean, Ant-Man would make the most sense because they're, dealing with the quantum realm. So that would make the most sense. I don't know how, like it wouldn't, I don't think they would do that to Black Panther due to what happened to.
I agree. I don't think Black Panther's the play either. I agree with you.
No.
Ryan Coogler, let's talk about Black Panther. Ryan Coogler came out and brought a clip. It's going to be obviously released in November 11th. It has Queen Ramonda chastising the United Nations for trying to steal vibranium from Wakanda following the death of T'Challa. And this appears to be the big theme of this movie now. We're kind of getting a little more behind the curtain of what's going to happen is T'Challa's passing is going to create this arms race, so to speak, to who can acquire and steal.
Armor war, are you saying?
I totally trying to get more vibranium. It's great setup there too, Mark. Awesome job. But it did show footage of the Dora Milaje and with an epic fight against Namor and the Atlanteans, which I think is going to be really exciting.
Do you still think Namor and the Atlanteans are red herring to what actually will be the villain in the show? Or are we all thinking Namor will be the villain throughout the whole movie?
I wonder if it'll be a third-party country. I really, really, Mark, would not be surprised if at the end of this Latveria is involved in some capacity.
So when does Aquaman show up and take back Atlantis?
Once he gets a mother box and booms himself into MCU.
Okay. They didn't reveal that at D23, so I'm just curious.
No, Mark, I think Latveria really is the play here, though. I think that's the direction we're heading, and I think
so. We're still
I really think that's going to be
cross our fingers. Henry Cavill as Victor Von Doom shows up, and
I love that rumor, Mark. I love it, and I think that's a great play, and I think he'd be.
Don't like that. Don't like that at all.
Jumping into the
hate that idea.
I
hate that so much.
I was looking at movies and then got to actors and the whole rabbit hole. One movie leads to an actor and so on and so forth. And I got to Daniel Day-Lewis.
I don't know.
What are the odds Daddy Feige pulls Daniel Day-Lewis out of hiding and retirement and be like, Daniel Day-Lewis, I'm Daddy Feige. What character of the MCU do you want to play? And why is it going to be Galactus? There you go. I'm done.
I hate the idea that Marvel is probably going to snipe Henry Cavill. I hate that idea. Not because it's not a bad play by Marvel, but because what it does to DC.
Right, yeah. Sure.
It just makes me real sad.
So they'll be fine.
I think he's going to be in the MCU.
From a reputable podcast that he is in good hands.
A host of a reputable podcast.
A producer, one might say.
A good producer who allegedly would win an award and an Emmy. Ironheart. Audience has got a quick glimpse of Riri Williams in Wakanda Forever, but Marvel also shared a sneak peek at Ironheart, So it's still in production. The clips show her building some piece of her Ironheart armor, and Feige tease, obviously, the show is going to focus on the cross-section of magic and technology, which should be a very fun twist. I would imagine we're going to get some form of crossovers in that as well. I'm excited about it. I'm interested to see how it plays into Armor Wars, Mark, which you kind of brought up earlier. I think both of those products will be leading us into Armor Wars personally. And Secret Invasion because of Rhodey being in the trailer. So, yeah.
When you said a mix of technology and magic, my mind went to this. So we now view the MCU as Earth religions. Some of them have an afterlife, right? That's what we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
What if whatever Tony believed in, his spirit is in, if he did at all, is now in that afterlife, and that's some way, maybe. What's the character's name for Ironheart?
Riri Williams.
She uses that space magic and such to get
taking it a step further,
AI
she's
going to Tony Stark.
Yeah, so you're saying hey, end of Black Panther, she's using the Wakandan magic source to speak with the ancestors instead of connecting with someone from Wakanda. She connects with Tony Stark, and that's where this process starts.
Yeah, that's where my mind went. Yep.
I could buy that.
That sounds
would
like
the
a bunch
world
of
blow up
gobbledygook.
if Robert Downey Jr. came back for that show? People would go ballistic.
People would show up.
People would show up. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, and Jonathan Majors obviously were on stage. This thing is bananas. Paul Rudd said it's going to be like anything you've seen from us, and not to mention that guy pointing to Majors. Throws this whole thing into such new territory. Footage shows Lang, Van Dyne, and Pym families being pulled into the quantum realm and faced with a terrible new foe, Kang the Conqueror. There are rumors going around, Mark, right now that the footage teases that essentially this will be a movie where Scott will have to do some form of a heist on behalf of Kang the Conqueror in order to get Cassie back.
I love it. Do you think he does the heist in another universe? We thinking that's where we get MODOK involved, or is MODOK on the MCU that we're in?
I don't know, but if it's
MODOK heist,
yeah.
So what we're talking about is Kang. Kang is like probably the top villain in this movie, but we're gonna have MODOK be the side villain and potentially in another universe or our universe, right? Like that's kind of the. And potentially MODOK is voiced by either Jim Carrey or Bill Murray.
Or, I mean, there's rumors that it's going to be the guy that was in original Ant-Man, the villain, Yellow Jacket. I mean, right? So,
technically, he could be in the quantum realm.
Sure.
Or something.
Steve Carell has a good MODOK voice too.
MODOK.
Yeah.
More ducks. Yeah.
Why are you saying MODOK?
Howard the Duck.
More ducks.
Corey Stoll is the name of who played Darren Cross. Mm-hmm. Then they showed the Werewolf by Night trailer starring Gael Garcia Bernal and Laura Donnelly. They star in this special. They're calling it a special. It's shot entirely in black and white. It harkens back to the Twilight Zone and old monster movies. And they showed some footage of this group of monster hunters seeking out to find this monster among them. And it's a lot of fighting and a lot of really crazy twists and turns. Mark, I'll rate this trailer. I know that Robbie didn't watch it, so it's just between you and me. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 6. It's well done. This genre of film isn't my thing, so I'm not frustrated by it. I'll probably take time to watch it for the sake of obviously this podcast, but just because I'm an MCU fan. But I'm not over the moon about this. Like I could give or take Werewolf by Night. 4 out of 6 for me.
So yeah, you confirmed. When I initially watched it, I was thinking, is this all going to be in black and white? Like that's the whole shtick of it. But yeah, after watching, probably 4.5, 5 out of 6 for me. I'm definitely going to watch it, obviously, because that's our job with this podcast is to watch stuff like this and have people listen to our thoughts about it. But what I've heard is, yes, it is a job.
You're getting paid.
You guys are getting paid.
You guys get paid. Go on.
Why isn't Moon Knight involved with this? Like, or maybe there'll be like a post-credits tease. But that's the whole thing. They have a copyright for Midnight Sun, so you assume them, or maybe Ghost Rider would be involved. But we got Man Thing, so there's that.
Do you think? That's the other thing. Man Thing's in this trailer. Do you think that this whole special is a test to see if the audience likes it or not?
I don't know. Or it's just a good, hey, here's a Halloween special thing that we have now on that we can show every Halloween.
That's a good point.
So, and
I kind of get the vibe that they're testing out the market.
I just feel like they got to be pretty clear that this is, because I didn't get that right away. I just thought like, okay, they're doing the trailer in black and white because it's like a 50s, 60s horror movie. And they had some campy effects where it was like, ha ha ha. So like if they don't tell the broad audience, like that's what it's going to be, we're going to have a lot of negative feedback, I believe, on the show. So
yeah, I'll be interested to see what the general audience thinks about this one. Secret Invasion follows a faction, of shape-shifting aliens known as Skrulls who have infiltrated all aspects of life on Earth. The Skrulls first appeared obviously in Captain Marvel, which was set in the 90s. Don Cheadle returns to be in the movie with Samuel L. Jackson. It will basically be a political intrigue and action spy thriller. I'm assuming there will be some tease of Armor Wars on the back end of this. Let's go ahead and rate this trailer. I also forgot to put the rating system in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right here. I know we rated something earlier. So here's our Infinity Bros rating system.
Here on the Infinity Bros podcast, everything is ranked from a 0 to 6 point scale. 0 meaning horrible and 6 meaning absolutely excellent. If all of the Infinity Bros rank something a 6, it gets an Infinity Step.
Robbie, what was your rating of Secret Invasion?
First, can I ask who's directing this? Do we know that?
I will figure that out while you talk about it.
Because I got big time Winter Soldier vibes from this movie. So and that
Trailer.
That
It's a TV.
That really,
it will be a TV show.
It's a TV show.
It will be a TV show, not a movie.
Interesting. I thought for some reason it was going to be a movie. Okay, this is the little information I have.
It's created by Kyle Bradstreet.
Okay, I don't know who that is. But no, I'm
Mr. Robot producer.
Oh, so that's a solid show from what I've heard.
Yeah, Mr. Robot is a very good credit. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm very interested in this show. I think it's kind of more of what the Disney Plus like show TV space needs, however you want to say it. Because you can do these kinds of stories on there and it's not like this big old production kind of thing. So I really enjoyed this trailer. I gave it a 5 out of 6.
I'll go next. Upon first watching of this trailer, I was blown away at how little I enjoyed it. And so much so that I was like, oh man, am I going to give this a 2 or 3 out of 6? Kind of sat on it for a day, went back, watched it again, and it kind of changed my thoughts. I think the first time when I watched it, I was caught up in some other things going on in my life. And I'm with you, Robbie. The second time around, when I was able to sit and actually process what I was watching, this is like the Winter Soldier for Disney Plus. I think that's what they're trying to go for here. This one is so I'm trying to wrap my head about how they're trying to do this, because 6 episodes to do this kind of story, I just feel like this is a setup for something way bigger. This is more like a prologue, if anything. Like if we were using comic book terms, this would be like the prologue before everything else. So I'm optimistic. I'm still going to give it a 4.5 out of 6, just because the first time I watched it, I was not over the moon about it. And I think they're holding a lot of secrets in this one. I think there's going to be a ton of big reveals. Mark, you and I obviously have talked for years about. I think you and I have talked, Mark, for 2 years about who's a Skrull, who's not. And I think at the end of this, we will find out some people in our universe who we have trusted as an audience member are actually not who they think. So if that process doesn't happen with at least one major character in this, that to me is failure. Go ahead, Mark.
I think initially, trailer for me, I'd probably say 3.5 out of 6. Cause like, to me, it's like they portrayed nothing. So like if I was a general fan watching this, be like, what's going on? Versus I know the story is going to be a 6 out of 6, I hope. But I go back to, I've been watching the Avengers Assemble cartoon that's on Disney Plus, and it just feels like all the storylines they've done in that, they've like put on the screen, like the big screen now. So it'll be really interesting. Like when they do their secret invasion, when they did their secret invasion in the cartoon, there was like, when you saw who was Skrulls or who became, took the identities, there was like a tone and character kind of change with them. So I wonder if they'll reveal some people that were like, oh man, what happened? And we'll go back and watch those movies and be like, yeah, they were different after that movie.
Yeah.
So I hope we get some reveals like that. But I think to really like seal in Secret Invasion, you gotta swerve some people and be like, yeah, you know what? Captain America the Captain America we knew was a Skrull or something like that.
I agree. There's got to be a major, major player that has it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And I bet it'll be Don Cheadle. I bet he'll be, and then we'll find out it's what's his name, the guy who did the first one. Like he's some reason they tricked us all that Don Cheadle was
that would be
War Machine.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Feige brought on the cast of Loki to showcase a teaser trailer for the second season with more mischief. Apparently, they've said this is according to Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson said that there will be an answer to what happened to Loki in this. So he either slipped that or that was the promo he was allowed to give. And then they announced Matt Shakman, the director of WandaVision, will officially direct the MCU's Fantastic Four, putting
I'm mad at you, Max.
Putting my favorite comic book group and in the hands of this man makes me a little nervous. But I also think Matt Shakman
Disney Plus show.
Nervous or mad?
I think Matt Shakman did a great job with his production and with his care and attention to WandaVision. I can't blame him for all the script issues. There.
Name one script issue.
Yeah, just
exactly.
one.
You can't. Moving on. He's going to do a great job. We're going to love it.
I hope so.
We're gonna love it for at least 5 episodes for sure.
I want Fantastic Four to be great. I really, really do. I really, really want this movie to be great. I'm really pulling for this one. Yeah. Echo, a new Disney Plus show that centers on the deaf female heroine, takes place after Hawkeye and features heavy use of American Sign Language, which is what was revealed. Footage from the series shows the return of Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin. And, of course, we're going to get some Charlie Cox in there, too. So this connected into Daredevil Born Again. Before we transition to that, Echo, any thoughts from you guys on that? No real news compared to what we've known.
Nothing makes a show better than a little bit of Charlie Cox.
Cox all day.
Electra Cox and Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
Wait.
I think it's cool.
Wait. There's 2 Cox now?
I think it's great that they're going with American Sign Language. I think that's a really, really classy move. It gives another piece of difference in this one. I know Jarrett and I, when we were watching Hawkeye, the episode where Hawkeye struggles with being deaf for about half the episode, we even said at the time, hey, it would be cool if they would have gone a little longer with that. I hope there's a way they could do that in this movie, or excuse me, TV show. I think it'd be really exciting to do that. I hope we see that. D'Onofrio also stayed to promote Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, for Daredevil Born Again. He is obviously getting a debut in She-Hulk. I guess not a debut, a Disney Plus debut in She-Hulk because he was in Spider-Man. Spoilers. But D'Onofrio will also be appearing in the Daredevil series. It is confirmed that this is a reboot.
Whack.
Thoughts?
How are they going to reboot it and use the same people?
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. It's like the Daredevil we had is supposedly in the MCU. You couldn't just be like, these guys got blipped and we can just tell a different story because their lives got twisted down because they were messing around and stuff.
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool.
Yeah, Shooting some people out by the school and a couple of guys. You know the rest.
Good. Start making trouble in the neighborhood. Yeah. One little fight.
Their mom got scared.
You know how that goes. Moving your mom.
Where do they wait? Where's this going?
Well, they'd go to Bel Air would be the hope. with moving in with their auntie and uncle in Bel Air. Not their mom and dad. Captain America: New World Order. No, I'm sorry.
Much more about the reboot.
The reboot.
Well, it was So that was the
reboot. Is this is the fears are coming to the front about Daredevil. The fears are coming to the front about Daredevil. This could be a huge flop.
Because I feel like Disney
this could be a huge flop.
Clearly didn't understand that people didn't just want Charlie Cox back.
Yes.
As Daredevil. We wanted that specific Daredevil back into the universe.
Correct.
Yeah. And calling it a reboot, that kind of negates everything you built for that character.
What if Disney just pulls a fast one? Because this is 18 episodes?
Yes.
What if they just pull all the things that they liked from the Netflix series and they just cut it up and put it into 18 episodes and they're like, reboot, there it is, and then just move on?
Yeah, I think it's even with him coming up in She-Hulk. I think people are going to just be so mad that he's funny and cracking jokes in She-Hulk. I think people are going to be so furious.
Because you're going to bastardize the hallway fight scene, the prison fight scene. I
don't think him telling jokes bastardizes that character, Mark. I do say this: if you, I'm in and out on that. I'm saying
that character from Netflix. I think
he could say jokes. That character could say jokes. What I'm saying is
he made jokes. Yeah,
but
he made jokes. Jokes were made.
Is Charlie Cox from Netflix Daredevil into the MCU? Officially,
right?
In this world,
I agree. I think this show's got to be dark. I agree. You gotta let You got to let whoever was doing the original Daredevil come back to do this with them and really bring back what they did. And if it is a reboot, continue with the same set of characters and just take new risks and go different directions.
Or just like, Sir Patrick Stewart wasn't going to be in a Marvel movie.
Here we go again. This is becoming your WandaVision. I want you to know that. This is becoming your WandaVision.
Well,
it's the third time I've heard you say this.
It could be a swerve. That's what they said.
Sure.
So you get more people coming to see it just to be like,
Daddy
no,
Feige would never.
It's the Daredevil you all wanted.
Captain America New World Order. Anthony Mackie returns as Captain America, which is great. I think I speak for our whole show, and we're excited about that. He was joined on stage by Danny Ramirez, who plays Joaquin Torres. He will be the new Falcon officially. Carl Lumbly will return as Isaiah Bradley. And the biggest announcement of the whole thing, Tim Blake Nelson will return as Samuel Stearns, a.k.a. the leader from Incredible Hulk. Mark, your thoughts.
Who is going to be playing Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and then the third man, Hulk Hogan? Who will be playing those people?
Answer
Captain
the question.
New World Order.
Yeah, answer that question.
Because I heard Chris Hemsworth is going to play Hulk Hogan in a biopic, so I just can't imagine he would also be playing Hulk Hogan in
all I have is what I got here, Mark. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
but whatever.
My notes do not reflect the answer of your question. I'm sorry.
Oh, well. Hopefully one day you can answer those questions for me. But
you don't have the NWO lineup, is what you're saying.
I don't.
Oh, well,
The official. This is all official.
Oh, I guess someone's not getting an Emmy for producing then.
So Mr. Nelson played the leader, right, in Incredible Hulk?
Correct.
Do we know what happened? I thought he died at the end of that. Or
No. So at the end of it, if you remember,
it dripped into his head.
Yeah, the blood trips to his head.
That's right.
They Sinestro'd the bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So apparently he's been locked up somewhere, or just doing his own thing, or captured, and is going to come back and be the villain to this movie. Or
what is going on in this movie, Mark?
I don't know.
This
they're not
makes
casting Kevin Nash or Scott Hall, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, okay, hilarious joke. You've said it 3 times.
It's not out yet. I haven't seen it. I don't know what's going on.
So, again, when we heard this initially, Mark, we thought to ourselves, okay, Chris Evans is coming back for this one. That wasn't announced here.
Maybe that are Chris Evans.
Will he be playing Hulk Hogan?
No, he will not. So I think we thought originally a different universe Captain America was going to be in this.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
So I guess I'm more interested. I'm actually more intrigued than I was before, because if you're getting Tim Blake Nelson back, that's a very big villain in the comics too, to have go against Anthony Mackie, a very big, pun intended, big brain to go against Mackie's Captain America. I'm really fascinated to see how this goes. I'm bummed on one hand too that we're not going to Chris Evans.
See, like you said though, like Tim, like that, the leader, right? That's the character's name. Isn't a fighter. You're gonna have someone that will fight Captain America.
That's a good point.
Who would he recruit to be his fighter, his like muscle? And if we're not saying he can enter in and like pull someone from the universe or whatever, who do you think is the fighter, the brute force for the
Does
leader?
he make Carl Lumbly young again?
And you're saying,
does he make Isaiah Bradley young again and bring him back to his youth?
But why would he? What would he do to make him a villain though, or a bad guy?
I don't know. I'm spitballing here.
I don't know. Or just some.
I don't know what to think about Captain America: New World Order, and that's very intriguing to me.
I'm so they could tell me nothing about this movie, and I'm showing up day one.
100%. I'm there day one.
I'm
no question
wearing
about
my NWO shirt. I am jacked to the gills.
Jacked to the gills.
My WCW spray painted NWO title belt, and just ready to go.
Feige announced Thunderbolts and announced the team. This includes
Julie. It wasn't Black Widow 2 he announced.
Dude, let me finish, and I'm right there with you. Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina Allegra DeFontaine, David Harbour as Red Guardian, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost, Olga Kurilenko as Taskmaster, excuse me, Taskmaster. Wyatt Russell as John Walker, aka the U.S. agent. Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, and Sebastian Stan returning to reprise his role as the Winter Soldier. Feige quotes, "It tells you all you need to know about the Thunderbolts when the beloved Winter Soldier is the most stable among them." This was incredibly underwhelming, in my opinion, Mark. I totally agree this is Black Widow 2. I think anybody who's defending the lack of power set in this group is comical. They have to pull in.
Well, you got 3 super soldiers in that group.
They got to pull in Abomination. This group needs Abomination bad.
So are we trying to think, is Thunderbolts going to be like a Suicide Squad-esque show or movie? And like,
yep.
And Sebastian Winter Soldier will be like the Rick Flag, like the good guy leader of this group?
I don't know.
I don't understand why do they need big power sets? The Captain America movies didn't have big power sets. The first 2.
I think Thunderbolts needs to have one big power set, personally.
Well, in all fairness,
okay,
this first group maybe doesn't need to go, or initially doesn't go against anyone that they need a big power set like an Abomination.
Sure. Yeah, right.
Because in reality, they have 3, like I said, 3 super soldiers on their team.
They do. And that's not me dogging the super soldier serum. I'm just saying more of like, if you were going to put this movie together, I really want to see Abomination in this group.
And maybe he might.
He's on an island with his wives.
On a farm. Yes.
Whatever. I don't care what it is.
He's with his 7 what do they call him?
His 7 soulmates.
Sure.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, why would he show up? You're right. But then you leave out Zemo.
That's the other one. Zemo. Like if we're going to do a team of super soldiers, why is Zemo not in the group? That's the other one. I totally agree on that.
He's also in Wakanda though, so that might also be a reason why.
That's fair, but I would like to see those 2 in the group. I think they fit well, and I really, really want that. But we'll see. Do
you think
he's totally getting out because of the Skrulls too, right? Don't you think so? He's getting out because of the Skrulls?
Whoa. Who's getting? Wait, what?
You think Zemo's getting out of Wakanda because of Skrulls?
Ooh. Well, eventually. I'm assuming if they didn't do him dirty.
Are you saying you think
Zemo's got to find his
Skrulls have infiltrated Wakanda?
I think we're gonna have a huge Skrull invasion in Wakanda.
That seems unlikely to me. I don't know.
Maybe a Skrull killed T'Challa.
Oof.
That, I mean, you and I have said it, Mark. It would be a big time swing for them to say Doctor Doom or the Skrulls kill T'Challa. That would be a big time swing.
I don't think they should be like, oh, he just got a weird disease and our Wakanda stuff couldn't do it unless it's some weird space disease. I say you have him be assassinated by like a Skrull or doctor, someone associated with Doctor Doom. I think that's how you do it. And then whoever, and this is, here we go. We're going back to this. You have one of those 2 factions be the reason why, but they put the blame on Atlantis. So then the Wakandians are focused on their battle with Atlantis. But really, we're going to find out at the end of that movie that, hey, we shouldn't be fighting with each other because clearly this crap is happening. And then they become best buds.
What's with you in pronunciations? How come you can't pronounce Atlantis?
I said
you're going Atlantis.
You tried to say disgusting and said disgusting.
Hey, Robbie, shut up. I'm talking to Mark.
Don't attack Mark.
I never come at you with your pronunciations, and here you are, just like making fun of me.
Yeah, I finally have something on somebody else.
Do you want me to quit the podcast?
No, I think he wants us to point out every time he misspells.
Do not tempt me, Mark.
Do you want me to sell my shit?
Don't ask me questions you don't want to know the answer to. That's all I have to say.
Look, I get it. You're lazy, and coffee from the grocery store is just as good as ordering from somewhere like Mini World's Tavern, right? Wrong! That's dumb, and you should feel so dumb for thinking that. Does your local grocery store donate a portion of their proceeds to charity? Actually, if they do that, that is kind of awesome. But we guarantee that Mini World's Tavern does that. Besides, it's not like your grocery store provides an amazing monthly blend with added RPG-themed bonuses. That's a limited edition Mini World's Tavern exclusive, baby. They are the online coffee brand that's perfect for game night. Guys, I should know. Before every podcast and every time I go live on Twitch, I fill an entire bathtub full of Great Old One, and I do my best Lord Harkonnen impression. Guys, grab a bag for yourself right now. Go to www.miniworldstavern.com/theinfinitybros, all one word. And guess what? You're going to save yourself 10% at checkout.
The Marvels, here we go. Brie Larson, Iman Vellani, and Tiana Paris closed out the panel with footage from the upcoming film Miss Marvel. Captain Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel find their powers have become intertwined, and the three heroes must become untangled. In the meantime, the three continue to accidentally swap places, leading to quite a few laughs. This comes from the footage shown with comedic beats. Everybody's favorite Flurkin, Goose, will be back for more shenanigans and antics. So Mark, I know how critical you are of these shows, of this movie, excuse me. Go ahead.
So this movie's going to be a comedy now? If they're getting into shenanigans?
It's a Marvel movie. Robbie, can you explain how Marvel movies work to Mark, please? I know he doesn't fully understand that.
Well,
typically there's like a villain that could be promisingly good, and then they kill it.
Yeah.
And that's typically how Marvel movie goes.
Well, the first Captain Marvel movie had 0 laughs, so why would you have any in the second one?
No, well, sorry, Mark. I'm sorry that you didn't.
And back to what Robbie said, why do you kill Gore? Like, you finally get a badass villain, and then you're just like, he's going to...
Because they had a badass villain. He's too badass.
And
well, that's true. Gore died, Robbie. You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm sure that set you off watching that movie.
Just another, wasn't surprised. Typical Marvel.
But there was Star Wars running around. He's not dead.
Yeah, we've already talked about how his power set isn't impressive. So
it's really not, but that's okay.
It's not in the movies, that's for sure.
Definitely isn't in the movies. Yeah. So that's the Marvel panel. We are not going to discuss the Star Wars one, but maybe we'll do that on Patreon next episode. Maybe we can knock that out real quick. So we're going to head over to our She-Hulk review of episode 4 of She-Hulk. We've been pretty up and down about this show in regards to our ratings, but also very critical of She-Hulk in regards to the CGI. Mark, Robbie, CGI episode 4, before we dive into our ratings, did it get better for you?
It's all bad.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
It's
all the CGI is bad. Like anytime she's around like another human being, it looks terrible. Like I can't. Like, and I can watch it and like still like critique it without like caring about that. But if you're gonna ask me, is the CGI better? I'm gonna say no.
I agree. I just wanted to get that argument out of the way before we got into the review, because it comes up every episode.
I had no quarrels with it.
Yeah, she just looks awkward walking around in everyday life. Like it's just there's no getting around
6'7" and a Hulk. I mean,
no, it looks like she's a 2D figure on a 3D platform.
I wish it was a 2D figure. Could you imagine 2D animation? That'd be better.
I can't. Mark, I can't.
That actually would be.
Mark, I physically can't. That's awesome.
I actually kind of like that idea. I would probably be down for that more than this.
Let's talk about episode. It's titled, "Is This Not Real Magic?" This centers on Donnie Blaze, a magician at Mystic Castle, who's expelled from Carmitage for using his powers unethically. He sends an audience member named Madison to another dimension where she makes a deal with a demon before being transported to Wong's home in Carmitage. Wong approaches Walters, asking to use Blaze as an example so that people will not be able to misuse the mystic arts. Mark, we're going to start with you. What is your rating of episode 4?
I give it a good old 5.3 out of 6. Had some funs, have some laughs, some good memorable moments. Highly recommend.
Robbie.
I give this one a 4.8 out of 6. I just have a feeling Wong's back is hurting from carrying this entire phase.
Is he a Skrull, in your opinion, Robbie?
No.
Okay.
Could Skrulls use magic?
Robbie's a Skrull.
Robbie's a Skrull.
I am a Skrull.
Robbie, you're not supposed to say that you're a Skrull.
I'm definitely not a Skrull.
There you go. That's better.
Isn't the whole thing of a Skrull they're able to mimic your memory? So, like, if he's a sorcerer supreme, he would have some very short term, memories of how to use magic. So I would assume he'd be pretty good at it. But then to convince Doctor Strange that he's
I feel like Strange and
then again, Strange
would
was
see right through
definitely
that.
Strange was bamboozled in the
concerned.
comics. He's bamboozled in the comics.
Oh, this isn't the comics, though, is it?
I know. I'm just saying he's been bamboozled in the comics.
Okay.
Jeez.
This is real life stuff.
This is real life. You're right.
If he turns out not to be a Skrull, I will have to
You're going to backpedal real hard on that Doctor Strange movie, aren't you?
backpedal real hard on that movie.
Do you think
That
Wong
movie
is
is going to be that if he's not a Skrull, that movie sucks.
Yeah.
That movie sucks.
Which one? Doctor Strange 2?
The second Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's bad anyway. So
Well, the point I'm making is Mark and I are making is if he's a Skrull, those decisions make a lot more sense to me.
Yeah.
And that gives me way more credibility to how that movie went. She-Hulk episode 4. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 5.8 out of 6. I really like this episode, guys. This is one of my favorites of the season. This is one of my favorite Disney Plus shows actually right now in the context of specific episodes. This is up there to me with the last episode of Loki. I really, no, it's not better than it. It's not better than it. It's not better. It's not better, but it's
put it up there.
It's in that tier to me. Yeah. Here's why.
Is it because you want to be lifted into the bedroom?
Yeah.
No, that's not it. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
I really like this episode. I think this is exactly what I'm looking for from this show.
Who do I send my 2 weeks notice for this show into?
Please do. This is a mundane problem that affects this Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not a huge deal that this happened, but it bugged Wong. And so what does he do? He goes to She-Hulk and says, I want to sue this guy. And chaos ensues. And I love how they continue to dive deeper into She-Hulk's character. The first couple episodes, we were wondering, hey, are we going to be able to really catch the vision of where this character is going? I think they're doing that right now. I begged episode 2 for, hey, give me something that this character struggles with. And at the end of this episode, when she experiences the person she hooks up with saying, I'm not into you when you look like that. That was a great moment for me. I really, really enjoyed that.
You experienced that before?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
He just likes
clearly. So
I'm trying to understand how you identify with this episode so well. I'm very
the reason I identify with this episode so much is I think I'm finally getting that character development I've been wanting for She-Hulk.
Made a pact with the demon?
No, and Mark, I'm officially putting my stamp on the table. Mephisto is back in the equation. There we go. I'm officially back. Mephisto's back on the table. There we go. It's official. Thank you, Dr. Doom, for falling down on me. So, Robbie, I'm sorry that this show isn't fun for you.
What?
Let's keep going on with
this is what I meant by the first time we talked about this. No matter what I say, people are going to say that I hate this show.
No,
I gave it a 4.8.
Bingo. Yeah, 4.8 means Robbie had fun. He just, had some little gripes with stuff.
Yeah, little gripes.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It's not top tier end of Loki.
I think this is this is one of the top tier episodes in all of the Disney Plus shows. This is a really, really good episode.
When I watched it with my beautiful wife Kelly, I looked at her at the end of this. And I was like, this is the show I wanted.
This is exactly the show I've wanted. This is the show I've wanted in all the Marvel shows.
Yes. However, I'm still like, why did Wong not just go get the sling ring from him?
Exactly.
Like, why was that an issue?
Because he's a Skrull.
Yeah, exactly. That's why
he's a Skrull.
And he's like wasting time watching movies when we first met him, he was always reading books. Mm-hmm. So, and he's, what was that thing I was going to say?
That's actually valid.
Like, yeah, again.
No, those are good points.
Thing, why do people when they like excommunicated or kicked out get to keep their sling ring?
Exactly.
Like, what? Like, is he recently kicked out? So, like, and like, Doctor Strange is there to be like, hey, that's not how we normally have done things. So, I don't know.
I think, too, Madison is going to be hit or miss for some people. That character worked great for me. I thought she was hilarious. I thought the Wongers line was brilliant.
Wongers.
Her spoiling everything was funny.
Why? But not where you
her
think.
making deals with demons. It's all funny. It's all good. It works. This is the kind of stuff that I agree, Mark. This is what I've wanted in my Disney Plus show. What are the mundane, normal people doing in this world? This is exactly what this gave me.
Is she a Skrull?
Madison or
No, Madison's not a Skrull. You can't fake that. You just can't.
Scroll.
You can't. I don't think you can if you're a Skrull.
All right.
I just really think you can't. I think she's one of a kind.
What pact do you think she made with the demon?
I don't know. Mark, a 1 to 6 point scale in terms of odds that it was Mephisto.
3 to 1.
Okay.
But she did give a name, and it's what Zane said. It's something the goat. So.
Jake. It was Jake.
So like that also could be actually what it really is. So
that's hilarious. Robbie, what'd you think of the profile dating app scene with her dating all these other guys?
You just robot voiced on me.
Oh, sorry. I'll tell you one more time. Robbie, what did you think of the dating app scene with her dating all the different guys?
I thought that scene in particular was very much what I expected that the show was going to be. I thought the show was going to be more of that. And I am happy that it's not loaded with that. So like just having a little bit of it actually was kind of a nice little break in between it, and kind of gives you like just her being herself plus also being She-Hulk and giving you that separation. So I enjoyed it. And yeah, you got a little bit of the emotion there when she, woke up and wasn't She-Hulk and the guy was like, peace out. Hated that guy though. Hated. Oh yeah,
that guy was a clown. Absolute clown. Had everything going for him. Yeah, it's interesting in the credits.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
I'm sure he did. In the credits of this
got what he wanted
episode,
killed it.
One of the guys who is being meeting up with her, the guy who's kind of calling her a specimen, if you remember, he is labeled in the credits as Hulk. I believe it's Hulk Hank or Hulk, like some name of whatever it is. There's a rumor going around that was a spoiler, that he will be one of the people that tried to take her blood, and he will actually get her blood at the end of the season.
Huh.
Do we think there's relevance to that, or do we think that's just a slip up or just a weird way that it was written in the credits?
Anything is possible with Mephisto back on the table, so very possible. That's what
Good
happens.
point. I shouldn't even know. Why would I ask dumb questions?
Yeah, I don't know either.
What am I doing here trying to run a show when I could just say Mephisto's on the table? Yes.
Yes. Robbie, anything?
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
You are so disinterested in this show, Robbie. The fact that you give it a 4.8 is a miracle.
I like this show. I don't know anything about Mephisto. What do you want me to add to that? I don't know anything about Mephisto.
I meant about like the guy who was like,
yeah, the guy, not Mephisto.
I think what Max had initially
the guy that was in it for 30 seconds.
Yeah, do you want to add to that? I mean, this is where Mark and I, bounce some ideas off each other. Maybe one of us creates a theory that's better than what the MCU is doing.
I mentioned that he probably already has some. That's what I did.
Okay, all right, fine.
When would he have gotten it?
I don't know.
Because the syringe didn't work when it hit it earlier.
All right, it's possible.
I have nothing to add to that. You
okay,
guys,
sorry.
This is you guys diving into the depths of 30 seconds of a guy and a credit line.
You involved.
This is you.
We're just trying to keep you involved here, dude.
I had things to say about the Thunderbolt stuff and was not asked. And the Captain Marvel stuff and was not asked.
What do you think about Thunderbolts, Robbie?
I don't want to talk about anything.
What do you think about Thunderbolts? Let's hear about it.
I don't want to say anything anymore. Nothing.
You got to talk over Matt's voice to make sure you're heard. That's
I don't want. No, you asked Mark. You asked Mark 4 times in a row what he thought about things, and I was just here sitting.
What do you want to know about Thunderbolts,
quietly.
Robbie? What do you think about Thunderbolts?
Nothing. I don't want to know. I don't want to know anything about. I'm over it. I'm over Thunderbolts.
What do you have to say about Thunderbolts, Robbie? Come on, Robbie.
I'm over it.
No,
Robbie, Robbie, bro, seriously, I want to know what you think about Thunderbolts now. I really want.
I don't have any thoughts about Thunderbolts. I really wanted to say how disinterested I was in Captain Marvel. That's what I really wanted to get to.
Screw you. I'm glad I didn't tell you that. I'm glad I didn't give you a chance. Now I don't feel bad at all.
Why did you pick up on that?
I wasn't invited to talk about Miss Marvel.
Yeah, well, I wonder why.
You're on the podcast. You're always invited. Like I said, you just got to talk louder than Max to be heard. That's how it works.
Well, I thought we ran a professional show here. I didn't want to talk over somebody.
Since when?
The producer of this show is off his rocker. We got to get this guy out of here.
The producer doesn't have an Emmy, so
This producer needs not a
Not yet.
single Emmy for our producer.
not even a vote.
Not even one vote.
Not even one stinking vote.
She
Robbie, what do you think about Thunderbolts?
It definitely looks like a show with some guys with some really good powers out there. There's definitely not a bunch of them with the same abilities.
Thank you. Mark's like, oh, they're all win.
I mean, I said that
They're
3 times. You got 3 dudes who are all have the same power set. One has a metal arm.
Yeah.
You have,
but one of them wears a red costume. The other one has a
one
weird
that wears a
arm.
suit
And then the
that
other
can-
one is like Captain America, except he's a big douchebag.
Exactly.
There you go.
Killed a guy.
Thunderbolts.
He killed a guy in a
But
town
don't
square.
worry, all the Black Widow
He-
characters are coming back.
He killed a terrorist.
That's still murder.
It's fighting for world freedom, so it's different.
Yeah, America.
Is Donnie
It's
Blaze
the same,
related
it's the
to?
same thing as Blonsky. He was hired by the U.S. government
Here we
to
go.
fulfill duties set out by them, did those duties, but gets blamed for it and gets his title and retirement stripped from him. So,
Emil
there you go.
Blonsky's full of crap. He's full
He's
of
not
crap.
wrong though. He's not wrong. He's not
He
wrong.
is wrong. He's full of crap.
He's not wrong. He
He
literally
was very
hired
willing,
by the government,
very
given a
willing to do
drug
it.
with known side
It was a different time in the Marvel
And then-
universe. They don't talk about that time.
None of us do.
That's exactly right, Robbie.
None of us do.
Yes, Donnie Blaze. You don't name someone Donnie Blaze if he's not going to be Ghost Rider.
Okay,
So there's-
Donnie Blaze is not going to be Ghost Rider, but he's definitely related to somebody from Ghost Rider.
Do you think he has a brother or cousin or step nephew named Johnny?
Do you think he has 2 brothers
Definitely.
2 brothers.
in a
Do you
van,
think Johnny
and they ran as
Blaze-
fast as they could?
No, I think
Blaze
that's Kevin
is
Feige being like,
Johnny's
they're
mom?
no, I guarantee that's just Kevin Feige being like, he just walks in, he sees like the guy's name, and it's like some random name, and he's like, just throw Blaze on there, just do
Throw
it.
Blaze on there, and we'll take care of it.
And
from
they
there.
know he's not going to be Ghost Rider because that's not Ryan Gosling.
No, exactly, but he's just messing around. I legit think he's just messing with people. He's just like, put Blaze on there, not going to connect at all. But some idiots in their basements are going to talk about this on a podcast. Put Blaze on there, and then he walks out.
I'm not going to be.
And then he gets executive
not
producer on this episode and gets an Emmy for it.
Hey, Robbie, what do you think of Thunderbolts?
Okay, I have an actual question about Thunderbolts.
Okay, go ahead.
So you mentioned Suicide Squad. Is Thunderbolts like a Suicide Squad for Marvel? Is that what it is?
That
I
is a
don't
fair
know what it
comparison,
is.
Yes, that's a fair comparison.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Are
I
you
just
saying a fair
didn't know.
comparison like Moon Knight and Batman are the same? But
They're the same person, Mark. That's like
okay.
2 sides of the
I-
same coin.
I have heard they are the same person. Just one wears black and one wears white. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, well, yeah.
I've heard that.
Checks out.
Yeah,
from a reputable source.
Right. I think Jared was the reputable sort that said that. So
Very,
Jared,
yeah. He's
Jared's not reputable at anything but giving viruses to computers.
I had a very inappropriate joke on that. Let's move
Don't, Mark.
Yeah, good
Be
for you,
on. I
appropriate.
said let's move
moving on. All right, moving on.
Last but not least, Walters learns that Titania has been freed, and she is filing a lawsuit against her, having trademarked the name She-Hulk.
How?
And Wong was watching This Is Us. That was very funny.
How was she released? She burst into a courtroom, disrupted a hearing. How was she not? How was that not a felony? How was she not away for like years?
Kool-Aid Man has been doing it for years.
Boom, roasted.
You're absolutely
Like-
right.
They just released Emil Blonsky, Mark.
Yeah, but they
What are you
clearly
talking about?
showed, They clearly showed that he had been rehabilitated, and the reasons
he
why
has-
he was in there
was.
wasn't his fault. It was the government's fault.
Guy wears white Crocs
And Wonger's, and it was Wonger's
for
fault.
10 years, and the guy's rehabilitated. It's ridiculous. He's not rehabilitated.
Well, he's got 7 wives on his island farm to, I would say, different.
Can I go to bed now?
We're at the
hour mark. Can I go to bed now?
I hope our buddy who lives in Iowa watches this movie and hears the biggest sage advice you can, or the show that you can understand is when you have a dating app, you swipe right on basically everyone. And then what Jennifer Walters says, then the real sifting starts going through with all the matches. That's how you get the love of your life.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's it.
There's my insight. She was spot on.
Okay.
What's your opinion, Max? Do you think that would work for this specific friend we're talking about? No? No
I'm
comment?
waiting for the bit that we talked about at the beginning of the show, but Max isn't getting it.
What's the bit? I forget.
Do you have any actuallys for us?
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah, that was a perfect well actually moment. But
Yeah,
no,
sorry. I'm checked out.
It.
Well, actually,
the bit's dead. Okay, murder that bit.
Well, actually, no. Okay. Well, actually, no. You can find out what that bit means on our Patreon. Email us at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can check all this out in a couple of years when it all comes out.
What does that mean?
It's coming out next year, right? Or 2 years from now. So.
Yeah, majority of the stuff is next year or the year after.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what I demanded as a consumer. Yeah, you're right.
No, you demanded the content immediately. That's what you said.
I demand to know what the content is going to be.
And you demanded to talk about Thunderbolts. And we gave you 3 different opportunities to do that.
Except for when we were actually talking about Thunderbolts.
Well, I mean, like I said, you just got to talk louder than Max to be heard.
Just speak up for yourself.
Have you
Robbie.
tried to talk louder than Max? Have you tried?
It's not.
It's not possible.
It is.
The man started the episode in a Will Arnett voice.
It's true. I mean, but he'll see that you're talking, and then he'll want to hear you, so he'll stop talking. That's how it works.
I think he wants to hear himself talk.
Well, he does.
It depends on if you're talking or not.
Oh. I don't know how this works. All right, I'm tired.
I'm exhausted. Let's go to bed. Thank you, Infinity Bros Universe. Mark, thanks for swinging by and doing this. This is great. I really, really walked away liking you less.
Thank you. I love you too.
Yep. Robbie, I go ahead and just plan on writing down what you think about Thunderbolts and letting us know.
There's not even one character with lightning abilities. Doesn't make sense.
That's a fair assessment.
Not one character with lightning abilities. What are we going to do? How will this be done?
You're going to get a Jolteon in there? What the hell?
Not a single person with arrows. Not a single person with arrows.
Jolteon. Hey,
no,
it's Wingardium with his Jolteon.
No Mr. Nimbus. Where's Mr. Nimbus?
Just a useless, just terrible.
Yeah.
The name doesn't even make sense.
Black Widow 2.0 is the perfect assessment.
I think Winter Soldier would be we could find a use for Mr. Nimbus.
All right. Well,
Lightning could
thank you, Infinity Bros Universe. Wherever you listened, however you listened, if you listened to this episode, God bless you, first of all.
Hashtag blessed.
We will see you guys soon. As always, we love you guys 3000. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Got the check. Okay, so now I've been told I need to keep it going for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Just a little bit.
Right? So now this is the post-Patreon part?
This is the post-Patreon? Patreon post? I did not record an Audacity.
I think they were making jokes about this. They were like, oh, Max cuts it off right away.
You do always cut it right away when we don't need to.
I can't believe he does that for editing purposes. What an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Mark, you ready to accept that trade that we had talked about the other day?
No, Justin Jefferson is going to lead me to the promised land.
I can't, the fact that I even got you thinking about it was like
that's the type of trade I'm gonna give up Justin Jefferson.
I made a very similar trade to Robert and did not get. He thought about it as well.
Because if my team was sucking and I was like, all right, I'm ready to rebuild. Yeah, I'm accepting that trade.
Yeah,
but if I have any inkling I'm going to make the playoffs, I'm going to make that run. If I have a healthy team, it's possible.
Gotcha. So I just wait for Derrick Henry.
I gotta wait for Max's team to start averaging less than 110.
Our team's toast.
Yeah, he's
My
My team's averaging 140. It's done.
If I scored
done.
140, I'd be thrilled.
The
Just
team is over.
exciting.
The team is gone. We are
8 other
dream is
teams
dead.
be thrilled.
we're
The
dead.
dream is dead.
It's over. We're screwed.
The dream's dead.
I don't know if
You
anyone's
could
gonna
very
find
well
my
be
screen.
0-2 though. Like there's a very real possibility.
Dude,
that
I
you'd
could be
0-2.
1-4. I am so toast. So toast.
Do you play me in the first
Luckily
5
the
weeks?
seasons.
I wish.
Am I
I found
the
out
one?
I played Nick Gillette twice, but at the end of the year. So like that could be fishy
That's
if
ridiculous.
the rookies start playing well.
That's just ridiculous.
All right, we're gonna cut this off now. Goodbye,
Why are you
patron.
gonna
Yeah.
Well, do you want to keep it on? What do you want to talk
I
about?
don't
We're
know.
talking.
Football.
We're talking
That's
football.
what patrons like to. We have patrons
Okay,
that
all
listen
right.
to football.
Okay.
Scott kind of likes football. Leathers likes football, I think.
Leathers likes football, I think.
Yeah.
I believe Leathers is a coach of a team or
No.
coach on a team.
Well, he
Coaches a
coaches
position.
at a team. Yeah, but they don't use his
Coaches-
position, so
What
it's
is
hard
it?
to use that position when you're
I'm
when
sure
they're
I could
fighting.
just look it up right now.
He's a running backs coach, but they go empty every single play and then lose by
Do they?
80.
I haven't watched a Crown game in forever.
84-20. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh my word.
that's hard to do.
Oh
That's really-
my word.
That's really hard to do.
It's just
I would just leave if anyone bring up 84 on me.
God.
I'm like, I'm out. Like that's
Hey,
it for
that's-
me.
that's new Crown mentality, right?
Yeah, it's you better score 100 to get 100 scored on you, I guess.
It'll be more interesting how they do against was it Saints go this weekend, and then
They're
the
playing
UMAC
Saint
teams,
Scholastica this weekend.
who is now a MIAC,
Yeah, it'll be
I didn't
interesting
know
to
that.
see how they do against the UMAC because the UMAC is more their speed. Yeah.
and the UMAC's kind of still trash. So
No, it is. It 100% definitely is still trash.
well, there it is. So you're going to beat Moorhead this weekend, Robbie?
We don't play them this weekend.
Oh my bad, Alexandria.
It should be a good game. I hope it's going to be a good game.
Promise. Are you going to get me into the game for free, even though it's not the home game?
I have no ability to do that.
You can't give me
Besides
a pass.
giving you besides giving you
You,
money
like-
to get into the game, I have no way.
You
to
don't
get
have
into
any.
the
You
game.
don't have any Sock Rapids rights football polos that you could
Can I
just.
can I
swipe
go
me?
to can I go to bed?
Probably.
No,
I probably
Max.
could do that. I don't think
Scott and Leathers wants you here.
I gotta stop
To
this
hear you talk.
podcast. I gotta go to bed.
I
Why do
would
you go
also
to
like to sleep.
No, I'm
go to bed.
hijacking this. We're
You're gonna go to bed now.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Infinity Bros. Feel free to send listener feedback via email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.